Greetings and welcome back to the channel. It is time for a build update. This time we're going to be talking about my rival build, which is one of my most popular builds. It's a really strong build. It's a stamina warden. It works beautifully. And I updated it for this patch. You can still run the old version if you like that one better, but if you want to switch it up, here is a new version for you. So if we look at the stats, they're kind of similar, 30k stamina, 27. This, of course, goes up because we are a warden, so we get the minor toughness, so this goes up to 30k as well. And then we have 15k magicka. When it comes to the regens, when we pop the potion here, we're sitting at 2200 stamina recovery and 1650 health recovery. This should go up to like 2.7, 2.8k when our sets proc, and the magicka recovery is sitting at almost 1200. That's more than enough because we're not really casting that many magicka abilities, so that's more than enough in my opinion. If we look at the weapon damage here, 3.2k, fully buffed, I think we're sitting at like around 4k. It's not super high, but we don't really need the super high weapon damage because we have some sets that do a lot of damage for us, so that's absolutely fine. The rest is basically just a standard heavy armor setup. We look at the resistances here, a little over 20k on both, and then 3.3k, almost 3.4k critical resistance. That should be fine in my opinion. Physical penetration, only 10k. This doesn't go up anymore because they nerfed the subterranean assault. And we're not running a hammer, even though I still have the hammer skin on it. We're actually running a greatsword this time, and I'll show you what kind of greatsword we're running in a second. Let's talk about the Mundus. We're still running the Steed because I think extra movement speed is quite important in heavy armor, and having the extra health recovery also really pairs well with the build. Vampire stage 1, that's all you need. No reason to go higher. And you can drop it if you really want, but I would say just keep it at stage 1. That's fine. And the food that we're running, our tame takeaway broth, not the cheapest, I gotta say. It's not the cheapest food, but it does what we need. You get the health, recovery, the stamina, and the stam recovery, so that's pretty good. But if that's too expensive for you, a dubious would also work fine. You lose out on the health recovery, but just do whatever you need to do to save a couple bucks here and there. So let's look at the sets. We're still running the Eternal Vigor, one of my favorite sets. Amazing how much regens come out of the set. We talked about this many times before. If you don't have Eternal Vigor, go get it. It's such a great base set for a lot of builds. You can just start with this set and then start building upon this base that you've created that gives you a lot of regens. And yeah, it's amazing. That's all I have to say about it. The next one is still Oblivion's Foe, but only on the back bar this time. We only have it on the back bar because they changed how the set works, and now we can actually have it on the back bar. We don't need it on the front bar anymore, which opens up a couple more options. So Oblivion's Foe, back bar. On the front bar now, we have the Vatran Greatsword, the Frenzied Momentum. Quite interesting proc set. This is kind of like a proc set that I can get behind because, it is not just when you do damage, boom, 5k proc damage to someone. No, this makes sense in my opinion. First of all, it's not super strong. It says 13k physical damage. In real PvP against real people, you hit for like 3 to 4k. I think that is more than enough proc damage, and you actually have to work for it. So what you have to do is you have to cast your momentum. So that's momentum or rally, this skill here. As long as you have this skill active and you cast stamina skills, 5 of them. You gain the stacks. Your weapon damage goes up a little bit. You know, it's not too terribly much, but you get a little bit extra weapon damage out of it. And then, of course, when you are at maximum stacks, you do a heavy attack, and you will proc the set, basically. Let me tell you a couple things about this set, a couple things that you might need to know. Heavy attack, in this case, means all heavy attacks. Even a partially charged heavy attack. So you don't have to go for like a real fully charged heavy attack. You can just go for just a partially charged heavy attack. That will already proc the set. Another thing that you want to keep in mind is, a lot of people don't know this, but the bull netch, which has no cost, it's the stamina version of the netch, but it has no cost attached to it. It still counts as a stamina skill and will still go towards your frenzied momentum stacks. So keep that in mind. You know, as long as you're in combat, that's something that you need to be. You can't proc this when you're not in combat, but as long as you're in combat, casting the bull netch will also give you the stacks, and you know, in the end of the day, you save a lot of resources doing that. So you can basically prepare, you know, before you attack someone, you can basically just get your stacks up and then go in with a nice big combo and make sure that you hit as hard as possible. So yeah, that's all the things you need to know about the Vatran Greatsword, in my opinion. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is the Pale Order Ring. Hell yeah. Really good ring. This one does a lot. This one does a lot. Like on base, it restores like 18% of all the damage that you do. You see it's 21% here. It's probably because like campaign bonuses and stuff like that, you know, they add up. But as you can see, like healing bonuses apply to the ring, so you can get it up further than the, you know, standard 18%. But honestly, I gotta say, this thing does a lot of work. And here's a little, let's call it a secret. You know, the more damage over time abilities you have, the more heals over time you get, because this ring will heal you for all the damage you do. So, you know, just for like, you know, an idea for other builds, if you want to go for like a full damage over time build, put this ring on. It's going to heal you the entire time. So this is basically like a twofer. Yeah, you do damage and you get the heals at the same time. So, you know, technically you can play a really offensive build that doesn't heal very much, because this ring will provide you with a lot of heals. And what I've seen so far in PvP fights, this ring heals me like the portion of the heals that I get during a fight. This ring takes like between 25 and 50% of my heals. So this is a lot. You know, I had some BG fights where this thing was actually healing me for 50%. You know, 50% of all my heals, just passive from the ring. You don't have to care about anything. So I think this is really, really strong, and you should give it a try. I have a guide on my YouTube channel on how to get the Ring of the Pale Order, so go check it out maybe, and you know, just get it and have some fun. The next set is Molakena. This is just to complete the one slot that we have left here. So yeah, you can put something else there if you know, fancy more regen or more armor. You know, pick the appropriate set, put it there. But I think, you know, Molakena or maybe Dame House would be a good pick to just fill that in. And yeah, that's basically the sets. Let's move on to the skills. As skills, we're using Dizzying Swing, of course. This is a great spammable. It does a decent amount of damage. It sets people off balance. And when you hit them again, when they're off balance, we will knock them down. Or if you hit them with a partially charged or a fully charged heavy attack, it's going to knock them down, which synergizes well with the frenzied momentum that we have. So, you know, when you're ready to, you know, just do the nice proc damage, I would say go in, cast your Subterranean Assault, hit someone with a Dizzying Swing into a partially charged heavy attack, because that way you will get the heavy attack damage, the frenzied momentum damage. The subterranean assault will go off, and then maybe put a Dawnbreaker on top if you feel fancy, and then you can just go into executing if your target is not already dead. Next skill, subterranean assault. Like I mentioned, this is the bread and butter, basically spammable, that wardens have. It does a ton of damage. Unfortunately, they nerfed it. It doesn't debuff the target anymore, so you don't get extra penetration. I still think it's fine. It hits really, really hard. It's an AoE too, so you can hit a lot of people, and you potentially just kill a lot of people with like a nice subterranean assault and Dawnbreaker combo. Oh yeah, another thing to mention about the frenzied momentum, it's AoE. It will hit everybody in the area. So, you know, you'll have a lot of extra damage, you know, because you also have splash damage on your 2H. So if you hit someone with a light or heavy attack, it's going to splash to other people. Your frenzied momentum is also going to splash to other people. The subterranean assault is going to hit a lot of people, and then, you know, you have the Dawnbreaker on top of that. You have some AoE options. That's what I'm trying to say here. The next one is Executioner. This is, of course, your execute, and that's all it does. Moving on. Crit Rush. I find it quite important to have a gap closer. I hate not having a gap closer on a build. I always feel like I miss out on kills because people are just a little too fast. Maybe I can't follow them. I can't hit them anymore. So Crit Rush will take care of that. It hits decently hard. It will always crit, which is really nice. In combination with the Pale Order Ring, that's actually really good because, you know, because you can always rely on getting like a decent amount of damage out of a Crit Rush. It's a good way to just get a teeny tiny heal here and there, you know, just throw in a Crit Rush every once in a while, get the 20% healed from that. Really nice, I like it. The next one is Rally. This is, of course, our source of major brutality, which we don't really need because we already get it from the Bullnetch. But, of course, we need it for the Veitran Greatsword, the Frenzied Momentum. So that's not bad, but it also gives us the minor endurance. So this also gives us, I mean, let's just buff up fully, just so you guys know what's going on here. Look at this, 2.4k stamina recovery, and this goes up even further. If you take a resource in Cyrodiil, this goes up by 10%. If you kill someone with a 2H, this goes up by another 30%. So you end up well in the 3k stamina recovery regen. So, you know, that's a really nice buff to have. And then, of course, you get a nice heal out of it, which is pretty decent. As if you didn't already have enough heals, you know. You have the Resolving Vigor, which heals you. You have the Bullnetch, which gives you a teeny tiny heal if you recast it. This gives you heal, and then of course the Pale Order. There's actually a ton of healing on this build, so I don't think you should have any trouble staying alive. The ultimate is, of course, Dawnbreaker of Smiting. It's such a good one. It's really cheap. It hits like a truck. It adds a dot. It knocks everybody down. What's not to love? Moving on to the back bar. On the back bar, we got the Growing Swarm, which is, it's a nice dot. It spreads out to other people. It adds a little debuff that allows you to do more damage to people. So, you know, extra damage can't hurt, and a nice little dot that will also turn into a heal through the Pale Order Ring. Ice Fortress is the next one. This is our armor buff, basically. It also gives you minor protection, makes you a little more tanky. Also affects your teammates. So, you know, if you're playing with other people, you can also give them the buff, which is pretty nice. They will love you for it. The next one is the Consuming Trap. You can go for the Soul Splitting Trap if you want to hit more people. I personally go for the Consuming Trap because it hits harder. And, you know, I could still, you know, it doesn't cost that much. I have 15k Magicka, so I can just put this on multiple targets and just have it tick harder, which, as I always say, also results in bigger heals through your Pale Order Ring. But this is pretty amazing. Like I said, on the back bar, because we only have the Oblivion's Foe on the back bar. It deals a lot of damage, and if you kill someone, you get a lot of resources back. And that is basically, that is like the best thing ever. You can sustain so well if you keep killing people. you will never run out of resources. I mean, first of all, you have a lot of regens anyway, but this thing will just keep you topped off the entire time. Like, I always have fights where I just kill like 4 people and I end up with full resources after killing 4 people. It's amazing. It's amazing. I love it. The next one is Resolving Vigor. Not much to say about it. Nice little heal. Only heals you. Doesn't heal your teammates. If you want to heal your teammates, you can maybe pick the other more of the Echoing Vigor. But, you know, this one, of course, heals a little better. So that's all you need to know. Next one, Bullnetch, is, like I said, one source of major brutality. So if you're not using Rally, you know, then you have this. But if you're not using Rally, then you're not using this build. So, you know, this also gives you some stamina. This is like the equivalent of like having like 200 stamina regen. So you can add that to the already existing stamina regen value that we have. And of course, if you spam this, or if you just let it run for 5 seconds, it's gonna remove 1 negative effect, which is pretty nice. So if someone puts dots on you, or like a Sork curse, you can just cleanse that off. Make sure you use that a lot, because it saves you a lot of trouble. Someone shoots you with siege, or you get hit by like flaming oil or something, just cleanse it right off, no problem. Next one, Permafrost. This is when when you're in trouble. This is going to make you pretty tanky, gives you the major protection here. It's also going to slow people, so, you know, if you want to prevent people from moving away from you, this is pretty good. Also deals a little bit of frost damage, doesn't hit very hard, but this is pretty good when you run into like a group of people. You want to make sure you stay tanky. You want to make sure that people don't get away from you, and you just have a little bit of extra firepower. Of course, hitting a lot of people with the permafrost dot will also heal you, you know, as we talked about it before. So that's pretty good, but feel free to put something else there if you feel like you don't need the permafrost. You know, feel free to put something else here. And that was the skills. Let's check out the champion points. In the red tree, 51 in Ironclad, 77 in Resistant, 43 in Hardy and Elemental Defender, 56 in Quick Recovery. In the green tree, we got 37 Warlord, 19 Sprinter, 56 in Mooncalf, 22 in Arcanist, and 43 in Healthy. Just bumping up the health regen on this build. Really, really nice. You don't want to miss that. 56 in Tumbling for some, you know, some nasty dodge rolls. And then 37 Shadow Ward just makes the blocking a little cheaper. Sometimes you want to block an attack instead of rolling it. In the blue tree, 81 Mastered Arms, of course, just bumping up the burst damage on this one. Really nice for the big burst damage splats that just annihilate people within a second. 24 extra % on top of your already pretty beefy damage. That's nice to have. 56 in Precise Strikes, 77 in Piercing, and 56 in Mighty. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes the build. I hope you like it. I hope you give it a shot. Like I said, you can use this version. You can use the old version. The old version is absolutely fine. You can run that, no problem. I just wanted to offer a newer version, offer the Pale Order ring in here, just, you know, to mix it up a little bit. And of course, the Vatran Greatsword. So give it a shot. If you like it, let me know how it went. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my socials, and that's it, guys. I'll be back with another build video soon. Take it easy. Bye-bye.